welcome to Good Day Street Talk, everyone. Antwan Lewis reporting remotely. Here's what we're working on for today's show. Taking a stand against bullying. How Stomp Out Bullying is encouraging schools and communities to connect in solidarity during such a challenging time. And then later, the teen filmmaker from Queens who's raising awareness about the importance of the 2020 census, especially for communities of color. But first, we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, and I had a chance to speak with the CEO of Pencils of Promise. Her name is Tanya Ramos. She's the first Latina CEO, and we talked about her mission and how it pertains to educating children globally around the world. Tanya, first, thank you so much for being on Street Talk today. For those of us who may not be totally familiar with your background, where are you from?
I am a New York native. I am Latina, Puerto Rican descent, grew up in Washington Heights, and also lived for a number of years in the Bronx.
We're in Hispanic Heritage Month. You know, it's one of the times we celebrate all things Hispanic, all things Latino. You also are making strides, and we'll get to that in a minute about your new position with the CEO, but just talk about the importance of what this month means to the community.
I mean, I think it's just a moment of pride. I'm such a proud Latina. I wear it on my sleeve, and I think that much of my heritage, the way I've grown up, really defines who I am. And so when I think of this month, I just want to be able to serve as a role model. I want to be able to ensure that children that look like me are inspired and can dream big. And so that's what this month means for me personally.
Thank you so much for that. Now tell us about Pencils of Promise.
Pencils of Promise is a for-purpose organization really looking to ensure that children around the globe have access to a quality education. We operate in Laos, we operate in Ghana, in Guatemala. We serve 100,000 students around the world, and we've built 500 plus schools thus far. And what we're really proud of is, to this day, they're all still fully operational.
That's so awesome. Can you talk a little bit, Tanya, about just how you had to adjust the mission, if you will, given the pandemic, and what things you had to do to adjust to and adapt to it?
I mean, I think like a lot of nonprofits, Antwan, we had to pivot. We had to be innovative. We had to find ways to still stay engaged. All of our countries closed down in the same way that New York did during this pandemic. So we found ways to stay in touch with our teachers. We had a SMS text messaging platform where we could provide them up-to-the-minute updates around COVID and how we could pass on literacy opportunities for our kids and our teachers. We had platforms where we would be able to provide PDFs or just different ways in order to keep our students reading during this time. We also worked closely with the Ministry of Education in the countries that we operated in. We have an amazing program that's really relevant in these days, right? Our WASH program, water access, sanitation, and hygiene. So we made sure that our community still had access to clean water and that we were able to donate much of the supplies we would use during the school year to potentially be able to still support them during these times. POP, as we like to call ourselves, wants to ensure that we're supporting our communities even during these uncharted times and these unprecedented times.
With so many school systems now trying to figure out the best approach to educating, the school year is about to start. It's already started in some areas. There have been some setbacks, like in Georgia in the South. They opened and then had to reclose. New York City is still trying to figure out its best approach. And
I know.
What are the things that you are supplying to your communities that you serve? Are we talking just books? Are we talking principles? Just share with us some of these supplies that you are distributing.
Sure. I mean, I think I'd like to emphasize that what we're doing is we're ready to pivot when our kids are also able to come back to school. And I think that's been really important. We created an education response fund in order to raise funds so that we could meet kids where they were at when they returned. Because like much of what you just mentioned, we have to be ready should we have to pivot if our schools reopen and have to close. So I think for us, it's been a matter of being able, as I mentioned a moment ago, communicating effectively and often with our teachers, being able to ensure that our kids are still reading during this time. As a mother of two, I am CEO by day and remote learning teacher by day. But for many of the countries that we operate in, you know, folks are barely making ends meet. And we want to make sure that our kids are still reading and they still have opportunities to be trained through our teachers virtually. So we've had to pivot in a lot of the same ways without many of the same resources that are provided to us here in the States.
Tanya, you did mention CEO, and I want to call attention to it for a moment because you are the first Latina
I
CEO
am.
of
I am.
POP, of Pencils of Promise. Just when you found out that you'd gotten the position and all of the things, and like you just talked about imagery, that young little girls or little boys of color can see what, is within their reach. How did all of it hit you, Tanya? Because it's a big deal.
Like, it is a big deal, and I take nothing for granted. I think a big part of what makes me who I am today is because I struggled for much of what I have today. I had mentors and folks that really invested in me early on. I grew up in a really under-resourced community in Washington Heights. My parents were 21, barely making ends meet, and they wanted more for my brother and I, more than they themselves had. They didn't see higher education as not only a dream, but it was a destination for us, and they worked multiple jobs to ensure that happened. And so when I think about all of the different opportunities that were afforded me because of education, that's why I was able to take on the CEO role at Pencils of Promise. It wouldn't have been possible otherwise. When I was growing up, the local public school wasn't even producing high school ready kids, let alone college bound. And it was because of my access to education. It's because folks believed in me and helped remove barriers. It was because my second grade teacher, Miss Correa, another fellow Latina, saw my promise even after my diagnosis of ADHD and my struggles to stay focused, and she invested and worked with me. I think about all of that when that opportunity presented itself at POP, and I just wanted to make sure that I continue to devote my career to ensuring that kids that look like you and I have access to a quality education and can dream big and achieve even bigger.
As a mom, does it carry even a little bit more weight because you're also trying to be a role model outside of your household to show what's possible, and then also having to wear that same uniform, if you will, at home?
I think so, but I would dare say, Antwan, that even before I became a mother, I felt like all the kids that I've served throughout my career were my children, and then it just, I think, was further solidified, to your point, once I became a mom. And I wanted to ensure that while my children are certainly not struggling financially in the way that I did growing up, that they operate from a lens of gratitude and empathy, and that they, like me, want to ensure that the world is better than the way they found it.
Tanya, POP has an event coming up. Tell us about the gala.
Our POP Gala is like no other. And yes, I'm biased as CEO, but I assure you, in my 20 plus years in the nonprofit sector, I have not gone to an event like POP pulls off every year. And this year, it's a little different. It's a moment in time, Antwan. Why? Because we're going virtual, and we've never gone virtual. And throughout the years that POP has held their gala, we've had enormous support from folks from all walks of life. And we've also attracted the attention of many celebrities. As you may or may not know, Justin Bieber early on in our history was really phenomenal in enabling us to build very many of our very first schools. And since then, we've honored Little John, who has built schools with us in Ghana. We've honored Gigi Hadid, Scooter Braun, our founder, Adam Braun. Last year, we honored Trevor Noah. This year is going to be us really trying to continue to inform and raise awareness for our important life-changing work, but doing it from the comfort of your home and directly from your heart, because the work doesn't stop, and it's even more important than ever. And so for our gala on October 22nd, I'm encouraging everyone to tune in. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. We have an amazing price point for almost anyone. Right now, you can buy a virtual ticket for $50, and just to put things in perspective, at POP, it will cost us $75 to educate a child for a year. And we're asking you to join us at $50 and really just celebrate the great work that we're doing, continue to help us move this mission forward despite all of the uncertainty, and to just be able to celebrate together. It's a moment to really reflect on everything that POP has done and what's yet to come with everyone's support.
Tanya, October 22nd, 6 to 8 p.m., $50 for the virtual ticket. What's the website for anyone looking for information, as well
Absolutely.
as support?
It is pencilsofpromise.org. Go straight to our website. All the information is there. If folks want to reach out to me directly, my information is also on the website, Tanya Ramos. I'm happy to help anyone who wants to sponsor, support, get involved. There's so many different ways to get involved at POP. I think we've been really innovative in being able to attract young folks, folks of all walks of life, folks that are campaigning their birthdays. We had just this past year a gentleman who decided not to buy an engagement ring for his fiance. Instead, he dedicated a school in her honor. So there's it's just amazing what we've managed to really inspire and motivate folks to do, all in the attempt to ensure that our kids are thriving academically and in life. And I'm just so excited to be able to spread the great work that we're doing. And I want more folks to get involved. We have college students that are involved as well. Last year, we had one of our college students appear on American Ninja Warrior and raise funds for our work. I mean, I tell you, Antwan, I wake up every morning inspired about this work because of the lives we touch and the folks that we inspire to support our work. So October 22nd, tune in, buy a virtual ticket, celebrate, and help us continue our impact around the globe.
Tanya Ramos, congratulations on your position being the CEO. Continued success to you and the people at POP. Before you go, we have to give some love to Audrey Pass. She actually was the one who put me on the show 9 years ago. She was our original executive producer here, and I know she's working with you. So please give Audrey Pass our love. Tell her we miss her. I still hear her yelling in my ear, rap, rap. Anyway, Tanya, we'll put the information up on our website, and mucho gusto, amiga.
Igualmente, gracias.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Up next, the COVID pandemic and the issue of bullying and how kids are standing in solidarity virtually this year when we return.